Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today I'm going to make a Shibori inspired t-shirt. As usual, the shirt was washed and dried, then I soaked it in a soda ash solution for 20 to 30 minutes, wrung it out of my Panda spin dryer so it's just barely damp. I also have the shirt turned inside out. I was messing with the fold a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the shirt partially folded. I grabbed one corner of the hem of the shirt and folded it up to where basically the hem of the shirt is alongside the side of the shirt. Then I'm going to grab the other corner of the hem of the shirt and fold it up to the top corner. So right now I have a very large triangle. I'm folding the sleeve down so that it fits within this area. Then I'm going to grab the sleeve side of the shirt and fold it over. Since I have one small area of the sleeve left outside, I'm going to tuck it inside the shirt. I keep patting the shirt to make sure that it stays smooth and I don't have any large wrinkles in the middle. Now I'm going to turn the shirt over, grab one corner, and fold it over again. Then I'm going to turn the shirt over again and fold it one more time. So basically, I'm folding the shirt over and keeping it in a triangle each time I fold it. Honestly, I'm just making up this fold as I go. But it kind of reminds me of the Shibori flag fold. That's why I called it a Shibori inspired shirt. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, but if you have a suggestion for the name for this fold, let me know down in the comments. To hold all the folds in place, I'm going to use some rubber bands around the shirt. Because the shirt is so thick, I'm going to set it aside for a few days and let it dry out completely. So while this shirt was drying and I was working in my dye room, I kept looking at it trying to decide how to dye this shirt. I finally decided to go ahead and just ice dye the shirt. I wasn't sure how to apply the dye, but I thought if I divided each one of the point sections into 3 different areas and used 3 different color groups, that might look cool. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a washable marker, and by each point, I'm going to divide that area into 3 different sections. Then I need to make myself an ice barrier to keep the ice on the shirt. So I'm going to use my silicone cake molds for that. And I have a link down below in the description for this video for where I purchased those. I wrap them around the shirt. Then I attach some wooden clothespins to my metal rack to hold the silicone cake molds up close to the shirt. I decided to readjust where I put the lines on this point that's facing me. And so I'm going to use my washable marker and make some different lines for where I want to apply the dye. I know the lines on the shirt are a little bit of a mess, but I kind of know what I'm doing. You're going to have to trust me with this. So for this center point, I'm going to add 3 different purple shades right in this area. The first one that I'm adding is Royal Purple from Grateful Dyes. I just got in some new dye colors from Pro Chemical and Dye, Dharma, and a few colors that I haven't ever used from Grateful Dyes. So I'm going to try out several of those on this shirt. I've used Royal Purple before, but the rest of the colors are new. On the right side of the royal purple, I'm going to add Spicy Plum from Pro Chemical and Dye. I'm making each one of the dye sections triangle shaped as well. If you ever lose track of the dye colors that I'm using on a shirt, you can look down below the video in the description and I list the dye colors that I've used along with links to where I purchased them. I also put links to various other tie-dye supplies that I use. Then on the left side of the royal purple, I'm adding True Violet from Grateful Dyes. On the right-hand triangle, I'm going to use blue shades. And I'm starting right in the middle with Stormy Sky from Pro Chemical and Dye. Then on the bottom part, I'm adding Aqua from Pro Chemical and Dye. And in the top space, I'm going to use Island Breeze from Pro Chemical and Dye. The shirt is really thick, so I'm adding quite a bit of dye on top of the shirt. And it's a little bit of a challenge since this shirt kind of curves right at the edges to keep the dye on top. On the last triangle, right in the middle, I'm going to use Oxblood Red from Dharma Trading Company. Then on the bottom, I'm using Old Rose from Pro Chemical and Dye. And on the top, I'm going to use Rose Wine from Pro Chemical and Dye. Now I'm going to add an additional sprinkle of soda ash over the top of the dye just to make sure I have plenty left in the shirt to react with the dye after all of the ice melts and runs through the shirt. Now I'm going to add a generous layer of ice to the top of the shirt. Because this shirt is so thick, I want to add lots of ice to the top to make sure I force plenty of dye down through the shirt. After the first layer of ice melted, I came back and checked the shirt and it was doing pretty well, but there was still quite a bit of dye sitting on top of the shirt, so I added another layer of ice. After that ice melted, I came back and added one last layer of ice just to make sure that the dye went all the way through the shirt and the top of the shirt wasn't a lot darker than the bottom or the back side of the shirt. After that third layer of ice melted, I went ahead and allowed the shirt to process for 24 hours. After 24 hours, I took the shirt to my utility sink and I began rinsing it in cold water. I rinsed the shirt in cold water to get out any of the soda ash that's in the shirt. After rinsing in cold for a while, I warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing the shirt in hot water to rinse out any of the dye that didn't react with the shirt. I untied the shirt and rinsed for just a little while longer, and then I decided to go ahead and soak the shirt to get out the excess dye. So I ran some hot water in my sink, added a little bit of Blue Dawn dish detergent, and just let the shirt soak. After the water cooled off, I changed it out and continued the soaking process until the water was almost clear. Then I put it in my washing machine, along with a little bit of Dharma's textile detergent. I washed it on a hot water cycle, and after the shirt was washed and dried, this is what it looks like. So, what do you guys think about this shirt? I can honestly say that the shirt exceeds my expectations because I really didn't have any expectations. I truly did not know how this shirt was going to turn out. I was a little bit concerned since the shirt was so thick that the area that I applied the dye to would be a lot darker than the rest of the shirt. But that didn't happen, and I'm really happy with that. I'm happy with the fact that it seems to be pretty much even saturation throughout the entire shirt. I also like the fact that the shirt kind of looks like stained glass. I think that's a cool effect. Then right in the middle of the shirt, it kind of looks like a flower or a cross-shaped flower. That's obviously the corner where I applied the red dyes. And then the dark color surrounding that flower look is probably the royal purple from Grateful Dyes. It's kind of an interesting and unexpected detail in the shirt. So overall, I really like the shirt. But leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. And if you've enjoyed this video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.